Greetings and salutations. This is your girl, Outspoken Diva, and welcome to Outspoken Diva Tells You a Story, where whether it's true or fiction, I'll let you know. And I am letting you know that this one is true. Blame it on Facebook. And there was a high school classmate who made mention of the class's chapter one, and I was triggered. I had this like, oh my god, I gotta get this. Who do I tell? I'm gonna tell you guys. um, so pretty much, I don't know what the title of this is going to be. Maybe I'll call it chapter one. I don't know. Um, but yeah. If you ever noticed, if you follow me, if you know me in offline land, and you probably have paid attention to me, probably like on Twitter and stuff, I have a problem with looking dumb. I don't think acting dumb, looking, um, having the image of being unintelligent, um, is cute. I think it's disgusting. And this is probably this is the story that is the background for that. Okay, this is not something that was taught to me. No one ever said you can't look stupid. All that kind of stuff. No, I mean probably low key, but no. This is a outspoken diva thing. Well, the biological name of outspoken diva drives this point, and I know exactly when this this was born, when the feeling was born. So we have to go back to, okay, what was chapter one? That's what I need to talk about. Chapter one, or chapters, were remedial classes in elementary school when I was in elementary school. I know eventually it became, because while I was in by the time I got to like fourth or fifth grade, they became resource classes. I don't know if they are now, what remedial classes for elementary school or school kids are now, but when I first started, it was called chapters by whatever grade. So chapter one, I was in the first grade, but it was because of things that happened in kindergarten. Well, one of the the petty reason was because, okay, I have the handwriting of a serial killing doctor. I write with my left hand. We'll talk about that later, about life as a left-handed person. But and I grew up in a time when teachers still would grade you on your handwriting. Like if you wrote sloppy, they could take points off your page, and things like that. Like I said, we'll talk about being left-handed later. But the main reason was because of standardized testing. Uh, in kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher failed twice. Like, as in, her body. She stood up. First time she stood up in a rolling chair and fell out the rolling chair, hurt herself. The second time, she fell down the steps coming out the lunchroom, going outside, and yeah. So we ended up with a lot of substitute teachers. Okay. And consequently, our whole class probably didn't learn all of the things that we were supposed to learn. Okay, based on the standardized test. Back then, it was the ITBS test. Uh, yeah, because I didn't have to take the state. This is the national test. I didn't have to start taking the state test till we got to like the third grade. So yeah, this is the national test, the ITBS, our test of basic skills. So okay, according to the ITBS test, I was not reading at first grade level. According to my daily work and our classwork and stuff, I was okay to go to the first grade. But standardized testing said no. So, and it seemed like everyone, I think it was two other people that were in kindergarten with me, but everyone in our kindergarten class was in chapter one. Well, no matter whose class you was in for first grade, you had to go chapter one. Now, I only had to do one grading period, which is 6 weeks of ITB. I mean, not ITB, of chapter one. So, and I can't remember the teacher's name. I almost called her another teacher. We'll just call her Miss Diller for the time being, but I can't remember her name. But yeah. Anywho, so we went to this class, and everybody knew about, if you were going to chapter. I'm glad I never talked about people that went to chapter or resource classes and stuff like that. But yeah, and in first grade, I really didn't understand. I didn't understand really until later in life, like in my 20s. Me and my mom were talking, and that's why she remember. And I remember my mother was, she kind of felt like it was a waste for me to go, but she was like, okay, if it's like required that I had to go, then fine. If she did not learn, the basic skills according to this test, okay, but my child is not stupid, so she probably won't be there long. And sure enough, yeah, I was just there for a grading period, and I went back to class and stuff. So, I went back to our regular class, like when it was reading time. I got to stay in class. I didn't have to go to chapter one. And we had like this little coloring book, workbook thing, and we had to listen and read aloud and all that kind of stuff. Okay, fast forward to the fifth grade. If I ever write my when I write my memoirs, remember fifth grade, everything everything about me, especially having an attitude, being a know-it-all, uh, the just all everything pretty much negative about me probably starts in the fifth grade. Okay, sorry. Fifth grade, yeah, and this does not help any. So by the time, I mean, I was a pretty decent kid, decent grade kid, A's and B's. And in elementary school and in high school, the popular kids made the better grades. Now, middle school, that was a different story. Just the popular kids were the popular kids, like you see on TV. But in where I grew up, uh, yeah, the popular kids made the better grades. Okay, so I was pretty much trying to be competitive with the popular kids. I mean, I was just kind of popular enough, so my grades were pretty decent, A's and B's and stuff. Okay, well, in the fifth grade, I was in tag. I was in the talented and gifted program. Okay, I was in the smart kids class, right? Well, one day, the teacher from my chapter one teacher shows up, and my by the time I'm in the fifth grade, we're starting to change teachers. Like we change classes, but as a class, we're not like not separate individual, but as a class, we had different teachers for different subjects. So the language, arts, and history was a social studies teacher, Mr. Backpack. We'll call him that. If you went to elementary school with me, you know who Mr. Backpack was, and why am I calling him Mr. Backpack? Um, Called me to the door. He's like, "Hey, Miss Diller is here to see you." And she was like hugging me. Oh my God, it is so good. You beat the odds. It was kind of like, like everybody hates Chris, and the principal, the principal teacher, Miss Morello. She was like that all of a sudden, like, "Oh my God, you made it! Oh my God, yes!" And it was like, and it clicked right then. Beat the odds. I remember, and see, she didn't have to take she wasn't in chapter one the whole time, just for 6 weeks and all that. And it dawned on me right then. Oh, you thought I was stupid. I am so proud. I just knew it. I knew you would go on and do great things in your education career and all this. I'm like, uh huh, uh huh. 10 years old, and I was like, oh, okay, I get it. So yeah, that is what drives me on people not thinking that I'm stupid, you know, underestimating me and things of that nature, just because I was in a situation that was out of my control, you know. And again, probably why Mediva was probably going, no, okay, I'm gonna do this because it's required, but she can't stay there long, and she's not gonna stay there long. You're gonna waste your time, and I totally get it. And yeah, it probably is why, yes, I have a problem with people who think I'm stupid. You know, people, well, I hate when I make grammatical mistakes on social media and I have to correct them and stuff like that. That's what drives me. I mean, one day I get over it, but today ain't that day. But it's all because like I said, I can pinpoint when, that feeling. Am I the best student? No. Like I said, y'all know that most people know I'm an avid reader. It's because of that. I have problems when I'm not reading well. When I don't read for a long time, I lose words. I hate that feeling. And that's the driving force. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's the story on why, yeah, outspoken diva doesn't like looking stupid. Okay? Let me know if y'all have that same problem. Let me know your stories and stuff like that. And, yeah. Other than that, talking to you in adult terms.